Hey there, Saki here from Saki Tech. So the HTC 10 is finally here and it is gorgeous. It is also loaded with amazing tips, tricks, and hidden features that you simply need to know. Whether you own or want to own the HTC 10, this is the video to watch and learn the depth and scope of this fantastic device. Also, if you're looking to buy the HTC 10, I have left some links below in the description to the phone and some amazing accessories at the lowest prices. So check those out if interested. But for now, let's quickly dive in and master this device. Now, first and foremost, let's quickly cover 5 tips that apply to the HTC 10 while it is off and sitting on the table. These are called motion launch gestures. So let's see all 5 options one by one. Alright, so the first option is to double tap to wake up the screen and double tap again to make it go to sleep. Next one is you swipe up to unlock. And the next one is if you turn off the power again, swipe to the right, and that's going to take you straight into the blink feed screen. Now, as you know, blink feed is the main screen that sits right next to the home screen. And assuming blink feed is active, if the phone is locked, you simply swipe from left to right, and that will take you straight into the blink feed screen. Now let's turn the phone off again, and if you swipe to the right, it will take you straight to the actual home screen. And of course, there's a difference between swiping from bottom to top to unlock and swiping from right to left to unlock. So let's have this Google window right over here. Let's turn off the screen, and if I swipe from bottom to top, it unlocks the screen, but it takes you to the last application that you were working with. But if you turn off the power, and if you swipe from right to left, then it's going to take you straight to the home screen, bypassing the last application that you were in fact using. And the final motion launch gesture is if the phone is turned off, you swipe down twice, and that actually brings up the camera, and that's in fact the fastest way to bring up the camera if you want to take a shot quickly and move on. Now the great news is each one of these motion gestures can in fact be disabled or enabled as you please. So how do you do that? Let's go back to the home screen. Let's go into the settings. Let's scroll down to where it says phone, which is right here. Go into display, scroll all the way down, and you will see motion launch gestures. If you tap on it, you will see all 5 of them listed right here. As you can see, double tap to wake and sleep is right here, swipe to unlock is right here, and then you got 3, 4, and 5. And on the top here, if you tap these buttons, it will tell you exactly each one of these motion gestures do. Very nice, very convenient. That's to go home, that's to go to blink feed, and that's to open the camera by swiping down twice on a lock screen. Alright, so that's that. Let's move on to customization. There are some really extensive customization abilities on the HTC 10. I'm going to show you all of them. The first one has to do with the action keys at the bottom. Now as you can see, this is the back key and this is the recent apps key, and in the middle you have a home button. So as you can see, currently the lights are on. What you can do is you can actually disable these lights so they don't eat too much battery, or just for convenience. So how you do that is you go into the settings, you scroll down to where it says display gestures and buttons, you tap on it, you scroll down again, under buttons it says navigation button backlight. So these are also known as the navigation buttons. If you tap on it, you can pick from 2 options: auto off when inactive, or always on when screen is on, which is the case right now. So let's do this and see what happens. So if I go back home, and if I wait a couple seconds, because the screen is inactive, they actually turn off. And of course, if you like them on, then you can simply go back here, display gestures, scroll down to where it says buttons, navigation button backlight, always on, and there you have it. And before I dive into some tips about some amazing customization tactics, I just want to show you this one more thing. It says recent apps button. This over here is the recent apps button. It can in fact be customized. So normally if you tap on this, you have 3 options. It says if you tap it, always open recent apps, which is going to be something like this. So that is the recent app drawer. Let's go back into settings. Or you can choose this option. Press for menu, press and hold for recent apps, or the one that I have right now, press for recent apps, press and hold for menu. So let's go back home. If I tap it, it brings up the recent apps. If I tap it again, they go away. If I tap and hold, it in fact brings up the menu. And this is the same menu that you can bring up if you go to the home screen and simply tap and hold. And that's the same menu that pops up. Now this menu is fantastic. The first thing I want you guys to understand is the change home screen layout. If you tap it, you get two options, classic and freestyle. Let's do classic first, and this goes into my favorite option. If you go to classic layout, what you can do is you can change the home wallpaper. But if you look over here, there's an arrow. If you tap it, the arrow allows you to pick single wallpaper, multiple wallpapers, or time-based wallpapers. So with a single wallpaper, what happens is you have a single wallpaper that applies to all home screens. So if I go back out here, and let's say I pick this over here, I click select, and I click OK. That's the wallpaper. If I swipe over to the next screen, that's the same exact wallpaper. So let's go back into the same menu, tap on change home screen layout, go to classic layout, and instead of using the single, let's do multiple. So if you go to multiple, you can actually have a different layout for each page that you have on your home screen. So for the first one, let's keep this. Let's go to the second one, change. Let's pick this, select. For this one, let's change. Let's pick this one, select. And when you have verified all of them, click that check mark, and let's see what happens. Now if I swipe over, you get a brand new wallpaper on each home screen, which is absolutely fantastic. Now obviously, if I were to add one more panel by pressing plus, and if I went back to it, let's go back home, that would have the third wallpaper that I picked. 1, 2, 3. By the way, if you pinch the screen, that brings up the customization menu, and from here you can pick widgets and you can just drop them to any screen that you want. Click OK. There you go. And the final option is if you press and hold and go into screen layout, tap classic layout. As you can see, there's one more thing over here that says time based. So basically this is day and night. So for daytime you can have one wallpaper, and for nighttime you can have a different wallpaper. Let's pick this one, select, click OK. And as you can see, because it is 12:41 p.m. on the screen, that is nighttime, so we have the nighttime wallpaper. In the morning, that is going to switch to the other one that I picked, which is this one right over here. Okay, so next up, let's take a look at the theming options. Again, if you press and hold the screen, or if you press and hold the recent apps button, it brings up the menu. And from here, let's just skip these two for a second, because if you go in here, there's another thing I'm going to show you guys. That's important, but it's going to come again. So let's skip that for a minute and go to change theme. If you tap on change theme, you can actually download and install brand new themes that make your phone look completely different. To go in here, you do have to have an HTC account, so make sure you guys go to htc.com or on your phone, sign up for an HTC account. Then you can sign in and you can view these themes. Now just to show you how this works, you just pick a theme that you like. This is the classic layout themes. You tap on it, you apply it, you click OK. And within seconds, when you go back out, you have a brand new theme that just looks cool, okay? And then if you go to the phone application, you can see that the theme has in fact applied across the board. Go back out. Let's go back into the theme options. Press and hold, change theme. And the other options you have here is freestyle layout themes. Now these things are pretty amazing. Let me show you one example and you will quickly get the idea. At the same time, I just want to show you one more thing. There is a button over here next to each of these different categories. If you press it, it simply goes into the full category and shows you all the options that you do have. So let's go down here, and actually let's go up here. Let's go in here and do an application of this theme, I want to show you guys what it means to have a freestyle theme. It's been applied. Let's go back out. As you can see, it looks beautiful, but wait till you see this. Basically, each one of these things, these items, are in fact widgets, but they're completely freestyle. For example, this is camera. If you tap it, it takes you to the camera. But if you press and hold this, you can put this anywhere that you please. So this is what they mean by completely freestyling your home screen. So I can put this right here. It doesn't have to fit in a grid. It can fit anywhere at any time. These are the freestyle themes, and if I tap and hold, I can go back in here, and this is why I skipped this, because it was coming up anyway. So if you go to freestyle layout, it takes you to the same screen I just was in through the change theme button, which is this one, change theme. And then from here, let's just go into classic themes, and you have all these classic themes you can download and install. Let's go back to the regular one, click apply. Amazing. Let's go back, and again I want to show you guys that you do have more options, freestyle themes right over here. Okay, go back, and if you continue to scroll down, you can actually download more wallpapers, you can download icon packs, and you can also download individual sounds. Okay, so this is very, very, very customizable, these themes options. And one more thing, let's say you picked up a theme. You can individually edit that theme at the level of icons, wallpapers, or other background items. Let me show you how to get that done. If I press and hold, as you can see, there's an option here that says Edit Current Theme. If I tap on it, it's going to take me to the current theme that I have. If I scroll down, I can individually change the wallpaper, lock screen wallpaper, application wallpapers, the color scheme, icons, weather, and ringtone. Okay, so just to give an example, if I go in here to the icons, I can pick a different icon set, which is this one, click download, click apply. So what's going to happen is my icons, only icons are going to change, but everything else that pertains to that theme is going to remain the same. Superb. Also, if you press and hold this, you do have some other options. You can add apps and widgets. If you tap this, this is the same thing as if you were pinching the screen. Okay, from here you can actually change from widgets to apps or app shortcuts. More thing, tap and hold, manage home screens. If you tap this guy, you can actually manage home screens individually. You can go over here, you can say set as home, so this becomes your main home screen. Okay, you can go over here, you can say remove, and that is now removed. Let's go back. Now we went over customization, we went over themes and everything. I just want to show you guys one more place you can access all these theming options, which allows you to personalize your phone. So if you go into the settings either from here or from here, if you scroll down, it says personalize. If you tap it, from here you can personalize a bunch of things like the home screen, change the wallpaper, add applications and widgets, which is the same thing as pinching your screen, so it's not a big deal. Let's go back in here, personalize, manage home screen pages, which is this option right here, which can be done by pressing and holding and tapping this icon. Okay, just so you guys know. And let's go back into the settings. Now here's one thing we did not look at. You can change the keyboard color. So let's go back in here, and as long as you have an HTC account, you can sign in here. You can download various keyboards, you can go to installed keyboards, and you can pick the ones that you want. So I have this one here, which is a default white. I can enable that. I can use this default, or I can use the Android L keyboard or neon blue. So let's enable that, and that's the keyboard you're going to get when you text message somebody. You go to Chrome and type in a web browser and such. This is beautiful. And again, if you go back over here, you have all these keyboard options that you can download. Very nice. Next up, let's talk about the camera really quick. So let's launch the camera icon. So first and foremost, if you scroll down, it shows you which mode you are in right now. So that's the photo mode. I can go to panorama mode. I can tap this. I'm now in the panorama mode. swipe down, I can go to the Pro mode, and in the Pro mode, everything is controlled manually. So you can actually adjust the white balance, you can adjust the ISO, you can adjust the focus manually. If you are in fact a pro photographer, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a pro photographer, you don't really have to worry about this mode too much. But if I scroll down one more time, I can go to video, and finally, if I scroll down again, I can scroll all the way to the end, and you can go into the settings. If you tap the settings, you have a bunch of options. You can enable or disable the grid. You can enable or disable geotag photos. You can also disable the shutter sound, and you can also scroll down and you have more options: camera options, volume button options, and storage. If you tap this arrow, these are the camera options. Here's my favorite, the voice capture in camera. If I enable this, and of course once you enable this mode, you can say things like cheese or capture, and that's going to in fact take a photo. So you can actually take photos from a distance of yourself and a group just by saying these voice commands. And let's go back over here, and you can also tell your phone how to use the volume buttons as far as the camera is concerned. So if your camera app is launched, you can actually tell your camera to use the volume buttons to actually change the volume, capture, or zoom. So if you have it at capture, if I go back out here and if I tap this, it's going to take a picture. So the volume buttons are being used as a shutter button. If I go back in there, volume button options, you can also use them to zoom. So if I tap this, volume up will zoom in, and volume down will in fact zoom out. Fantastic. And finally, in the settings, one more time, let's go back into the settings, scroll down, tap on storage, and from here, if you are using a micro SD card, you can tell the camera to save all the pictures that you take with your camera or the videos and save them in the removable storage instead of the internal storage. I highly recommend removable storage. Now, by the way, you do know that your phone can record 4K video, 1080p, 720p, and all that good stuff. To toggle between those options, what you have to do is scroll down, go over to video, scroll down again, and from here you can choose the quality. So right now it says full HD. Tap it again, it's only HD, which is 720p. If you tap it again, it goes to some really bad quality, and if you tap it one more time, a couple more times, it actually brings up 4K quality. And take a look at that. It says, to save 4K videos faster, record using a high-speed removable storage or you use your internal storage. So when you guys are buying an external SD card, a micro SD card, make sure you buy the one that is very, very fast. Now I know that I have one of the fastest ones out there, so I'm just going to go to use removable storage. Okay, next up, let's go into the settings. Now this is a cell phone, and I'm sure a lot of us actually use it to call people and receive calls. So why not customize some of the things we can do in relation to calling? So go into settings, scroll down to where it says sound and notification, tap on it, and again scroll down to where it says incoming calls. Over here you have some fantastic features. This one is the first one. So quiet ring on pickup. So if somebody calls you and you pick the phone up from the table, it's going to lower the ringer volume, okay, when you move the phone. And then you have the pocket mode. If your phone is in your pocket, it's going to actually ring louder. And the phone itself knows when it's in your pocket or not based on its sensors. And finally, you can always flip your phone to mute. So if your phone is sitting on the table like this and it starts to ring, you can simply flip it over, and that's going to mute the phone so it doesn't ring anymore. So that's incoming call options, and if you scroll down, you have some system options for sound and notification. You can enable or disable touch sound. So if I tap on the screen, it actually gives me a small clicking noise. It's a nice feedback to have. If you don't want it, you can disable that. I like to have it on. You can create screen lock sound, so when you lock the screen, it actually makes a sound as if it's being locked. You can disable that as well. And then you have all these other options. Vibrate on touch. If you tap the screen, do you want a little vibration feedback or not? Again, that can be enabled or disabled right here. Now the other thing I want to talk about is the LED notification light, which as you can see is blinking right now because I have a missed call. So if I scroll down, there are some options to actually modify the settings pertaining to the LED notification. Now, first and foremost, do you want it always to flash, or do you want it to flash when the screen is off? So that's the first option. Number two, you can manage LED notifications. If I tap on it, I can choose which app actually triggers the LED notification. So in this case, the missed call is triggering the LED notification. But if I don't want that, I can disable this. I can disable all these options: alarms, mail, calendar. In fact, I do not need an LED notification for alarms. So disable and go back here. And let's say that you have a fingerprint or a password set up. So when you turn off your phone, it actually locks your screen and somebody has to put a PIN number, a password, or you have to use your fingerprint to unlock the phone. In my case, I don't have any of those. But let's say you did have one of those and somebody sent you a message. Obviously, you don't want anybody to be able to press this button and see the notifications. As you can see, here you can see that Saki called me. So what you can do is, let's unlock the screen. What you can do is, when the device is locked, you can choose don't show notifications at all. This is a nice privacy feature. So if I turn the phone off now, and if I turn it on, the screen is locked, so you cannot see any of the notifications, which is a nice security feature, so nobody can pry on your private stuff. Alright, so next up, let's talk about the storage management features. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to show you guys that you have a hidden file explorer right in your phone. It's built into the HTC 10. So let's start from the beginning. Let's go home. Let's go into the settings. Let's scroll down to system, actually to phone, and then go to storage. And here you have a lot of information. First one is pertaining to the internal storage, and the second one is the removable storage. If you tap this, it expands that. It's going to show you how much is available, how much is being used, and it's doing calculations to find out how much other things are using. Let's let that happen for a minute, and let's scroll down over here, and it says at the bottom, Explore. If you tap Explore, it actually brings up the hidden file explorer on your HTC 10. And from here, you can actually go in, to different places like pictures and simply browse through your phone using this built-in file explorer. And you do have options to search. You can search for a specific file. You can tap this icon. You can sort by name, by date, modified, or by size. And of course, you can tap this guy over here, and that enables the grid view, which looks a little more like a file explorer. Now let's go back out, and also at the bottom here, as you can see, it says cached data. Okay, so there is data many times you do not need. If it's a big number shown down here, you can tap on it and it's going to allow you to clear cached data. So if you're running out of space, you can always come back here and you can clear the cached data. Now as you can see, I have 74 megabytes. That's not too much. But if this was 1 gigabytes, I would tap this guy and I would click OK, and that would clear everything up. It would become 0. It's going to update in a couple seconds. There we go. It's only 1 megabytes now. And of course, I just want to let you know one more thing. So if you tap on any of these guys, it actually expands to give you some more details. Some of them may not work, but for example, apps, if I tap it, it's going to go into the apps and it's going to show me which apps are taking what kind of storage. If I tap on an individual app, it can give me some more information, or if you wait, it's going to populate. As you can see, it's slowly populating. So this app over here, it's taking 12 megabytes. If I don't need it, I can actually disable or uninstall it. And of course, if I want to make a change to any one of these apps, I can simply tap on them. And first of all, I'm going to get a basic screen. You can clear the data, you can clear the cache. If I want to disable the app or uninstall the app, I tap this eye icon, and that takes me to the full management screen. I can disable it, stop it, uninstall any updates, and so on and so forth. So let's go back out to the main screen. And the second thing I'm going to show you guys is the SanDisk SD card. This is the external micro SD card that I've attached. If you tap this settings icon, you will get some more settings. You can eject it, you can format it, or you can format it as internal. If you click this, what's going to happen is, if you go back out here, everything is going to be bundled under internal storage as one big drive. Now I like to keep them separate, so I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is. Plus, if you do format it, if you do go to the settings and you format this, it's going to delete everything that is on the current external micro SD card. Next tip has to do with the memory. Now, as you know, HTC 10 comes with 4 gigabytes of memory. At any time, you can go into the settings, you can scroll down all the way and go into memory, and if you do that, it's going to tell you currently how much memory is in use. So right now I have 1.5 gigs of memory in use. Average usage is 42%. Currently I have 2.1 gigabytes free, which is very, very good. And then it gives you some other information like performance, total available memory, and so on and so forth. You can tap this icon and you can tap on 1 day, and it gives you the same averages based on 1 day of use. Next up, let's talk about the power management features. And HTC 10 is very rich when it comes to those features. So let's go into the settings. Again, scroll all the way down and go straight into power. This has to do with the battery. So first and foremost, you get a nice little battery, shows you how much is available, 47%. And the first two things I want you guys to take a look at is the power saver mode. If you press here, it enables the power saver mode. But if you press over here, it goes into the details, okay? So from here, it gives you a nice description. So to improve battery life, power saver conserves CPU usage, limits location services, and so on. Now when your battery hits 15%, the power saver is going to automatically turn on. You can also disable this option, okay? I like to keep it enabled. If you want to turn on the power mode right now, you can simply tap this button and you're good to go. And as you can see, the screen brightness did went down a little bit. So let's disable this, go back out. The next thing is extreme power saving mode. Again, if I press this, it's going to enable it. Let's just go inside. And what this does is it transforms your phone into a simple interface. And this is set to activate at 10% battery life automatically. Let me show you guys what it looks like. If I enable it, you get some details, simply click OK, and boom, that's the extreme power savers mode. You have phone, you got mail, you have one app here, calculator, messages, calendar, and exit. And that's all you can do. And that makes sure you don't watch videos, you don't listen to music, you don't play games, and your battery is going to last longer. Now let's exit. And you go right back to the home screen. Okay, let's take a look at the data management. Now if I go back home and if I go back into the settings, on the top we have an option called More. This is under wireless and networks. So let's go to More, and then let's go into data usage. If you tap it, there's one thing here that I absolutely adore, and that is limit mobile data usage. If you enable this, you can click OK, and what you can do is you get 2 bars over here. So the first bar is an alert. It alerts you that you are at 2 gigabytes of usage. You can in fact customize this. You can grab this bar and go up to 3. So you get alerted at 3 gigabytes of usage for this given cycle, which you can also edit, by the way. If you tap this, you can edit this cycle. But the other thing is the red bar at 5 gigabytes of data usage, the data connection shuts off automatically. Again, this is also customizable. So you can bring this down to 4 if you so desire. Not bad at all. Now if you don't have an unlimited package, one way to save data is tap this button, simply click restrict background data. Okay, so that's one thing. Let's go back out here. So let's talk about app management. You do have a lot of options when it comes to controlling the way apps behave. So what you want to do is you want to scroll down and you want to go into apps. Once you're in the apps, you get a list of all the apps that are on your phone. Let's just pick one example. Let's just pick YouTube. If I tap on YouTube, I have two options. The big options are permissions and notifications. Permissions, if you tap on it, shows you what kind of access does YouTube have on my phone. As you can see, it does not have access to my camera, nor does it have access to my contacts, nor does it have access to my storage, which is fantastic. Okay, but some apps will ask you permissions and you have to allow it for them to give you full functionality. But if it ever bothers you, you can come back to app management, go into app permissions, and you can simply disable. For example, let's say YouTube had access to my storage, I would ask myself why, and I could just disable that and you're good to go. Let's go back out. Just want to show you one more thing over here. Okay, go back into YouTube, and if you go back into notifications, from here you can customize individual notifications for this specific app. So you can block all the notifications, you can treat these notifications as priority notifications, and you can allow peeking, and there's a description here that tells you what allow peeking means. Let's quickly take a look at the apps drawer. If I tap the apps drawer, you get your apps and you can scroll through them, very nice and smooth. And here's a couple options. Now, first thing you can do is you can tap this button here and you can change the grid size. If I tap on this, I can go for 4x5 or 3x4. If I do 4x5, you got 4 this way and 5 this way. You'll have more apps on the screen. I can also access the Google Play Store straight from the app drawer. Alrighty, and I can also, if I go back in here, search for an individual app, which makes it very easy. So if I was looking for a clock, I just search clock and it comes right up. And additionally, I can sort these apps alphabetically, or I can do it custom or by what is installed most recently. Now let's say I want to create a folder. What I can do with HTC 10 is I can create a folder and simply populate that folder in one go. So to create a folder, you want to grab one app and put it on top of the other. Now once you do that, it creates a folder. When you tap on the folder, you can change the name of the folder by tapping right over here, business as usual, let's just say A. But you can also click plus, and that allows you to pick as many apps that you want in one time. Click done, and all of those guys will go into that one folder. That's a very nice and quick way to create folders. So let's quickly take a look at the notifications panel. Now if you pull down once, it brings up the notifications. If you pull down one more time, it brings up the quick toggles. On the quick toggles, some of these toggles have a triangle that is pointing downwards. If you tap on it, it gives you more options. If you click done, it goes right back to the quick toggle screen. Same thing with the Bluetooth. If you tap it, it gives you more options. If there's anything available, click done, you're back. Now on the top you have a button. This button allows you to toggle between quick toggles and notifications panel. So if I tap it, it brings up notifications. If I tap it again, it brings up the quick toggles. Now with the quick toggles, one more thing you can do is you can press and hold on a quick toggle, and that takes you into the detailed settings for that option, which in this case was the Wi-Fi. So I pull this thing down, I press and hold it, and it took me into the Wi-Fi options. Not bad at all. Additionally, if you tap on the time anywhere here, it's the same story. Okay, so it expands and contracts as you tap this thing, just as if you were pressing this button. Now if you press settings, that takes you into settings. Well, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to Saki Tech and give this video a thumbs up. Also follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Saki Tech Online, for which links are in the description below. Have a fantastic day.